So hello everybody and welcome. We're D&D Boyband, a group of friends that all like to play D&D Pretty Boys, because apparently it's not fantasy unless everyone's hot. This is an original D&D campaign set in the critical world of Exandria, taking place 10 years after the events of CR1. The group's been through a lot so far, and whilst there were some pretty big lore dumps last session, we'll probably go a little bit back over those, a little bit over kind of what's been happening in the 2-week downtime, not only here but in game. I'm Dungeon Master Jamie, and joining me tonight are the Spice Boys, special guest still. First of all, let me introduce Clued as Barnes,
Hello.
Eski as Zug,
Hello.
Sai as Aku, Luke as Ascor, Erin as Hayden. And thank you very much again for joining Hannah, aka Blady Cakes, aka Casadius, our tiefling with adorable parents who is definitely only going to steal your steal your wallets.
Definitely just your wallet,
Just
not
your wallet.
everything you own, the deed to your house, your cart, your horse.
Hey, but didn't we try to rob you last time?
You tried, you did not succeed, and I got away with a lot of cutlery.
Right, try again. He's
Right.
already stolen my heart.
Oh, you just want his parents, that's all.
Last session, the group went back to Barnes's and honestly spent the entire session planning. They were planning about what to do with the clasp, collating information there, discussing with both Casadius and Hayden and Aku what the plan was there, discussing Rasha. I think the only definitive action that was 100% taken was sending a message to Cesophotomp, upon which you realize Cesophotomp is when messaging him, you actually messaged Solganeth, the Aboleth, who in theory has given Ascor his powers. From that, you have cascaded into an understanding that a lot of what you guys have faced in your journey, at least in tal'dorei, has been directly related to the Aboleth's inputs. From the plague beneath the ground and the invasion of the Mind Flayer colonies, to the werewolf plague and the plague of undeath above ground, to Ascor's family's interests in beneath the Cinder Scar, and a lot of what you've seen and done here. You have devised essentially a couple of plans. You are going to look into Aboleths because they are seemingly very involved and you want to know more about them. You also were going to create a divide and almost attempt to spark a civil war in the clasp. Initially, the plan last week was to make kind of the smugglers, the profitable part, fight against the glamour part, using the death of Shen, the recent ascension of Kari, and any other piece of information that Hayden, Aku, and Casadius can put together. You also, quite determinedly, were looking to find Rasha, because Rasha seemingly is all tied up in these Aboleths. Geb may or may not be the queen of the Aboleths, sealed deep beneath Imon, and you probably need to kind of at least know where he is right now. His parents are inside of Barnes's mansion, being taken care of, whilst we discussed outside a campaign, 2 weeks downtime occur, where the group put some of these roles and plans into action. So, to cut a long story short, I'm going to read out essentially what people rolled and what happened with those rolls. Zug, first of all. Zug, you had 2 objectives during your time. One was to apologize and settle up with the guards, to which you rolled a 4 on persuasion in writing your letter.
Yes,
So,
I did.
Zug, I don't know why I should read it out. Please read out
Yeah,
your
I
letter
can narrate
to
it.
Sergeant Vimes, leader of the Amon Guard.
So it's like imagine him scribbling it down, kind of like looking really, really kind of tense over this before he leaves the mansion. Dear Sergeant Vimes, I am very sorry. I was busy with a super important top secret job / mission for Mr. Rolo. I was investigating the evil cult that started the plague and the Aboleths. I mean, he in his head he would have said Aboleths, but it's spelt. In fact, I'm gonna post this. Could you maybe post this in the somewhere where it can be read, because the spelling is important. There is no need to be upset. I was told you wouldn't hang me until dead, and if you still wanted to hang me until dead after reading this letter, to speak to Mr. Rolo. Yours sincerely, Zug. And that was the whole letter.
You wrote this You folded it, you walked out, and you walked into the guard room and presented this to the stern, so tall, slightly elderly face, stern face of Sharpened Pines. And it does not go fully as you intend, as you were immediately thrown in prison. And there are muttering about made up nonsense, and you could have at least come up with a good excuse. And you spend
Well, so
five.
would it have been protesting that they should all speak to Mr. Rollo?
You spend 5
Mr. Rollo,
days.
Mr. Rollo.
Mr. Rolo.
Mr. Rollo.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Alright.
spend 5 days out of the 14 in this cell waiting to be rescued or for them to speak to Mr. Rolo. And eventually, after that time, you are set free by a memo. And you kind of square it all up. We'll deal with the roleplay a little bit later, but grudgingly and with much mocking, you are set free. To look, it's your second mission, which is to look for Rasha.
Mm.
Looking for Rasha goes well. You rolled an 18. He's not
Ooh.
particularly difficult to find. You're
I was
still
about to say, it can't be that
He's a
hard.
6'7", 8", grey cracked skin with like golden things in it, covered in golden armor. Not difficult. You find him in various points outside of the city walls, keeping your distance, just making sure that he doesn't disappear beneath ground and stays there. He is clearly looking for avenues beneath ground. You see him kind of scouting some of the hills outside or the forest. And occasionally he does find one, and seemingly you watch and make sure he's there. And often he comes back up quite quickly. Seemingly this is a dead end, or it's not what he was looking for. He is also he's not exactly endeared himself to anybody locally, so they're all happy to tell you where he is, what he's doing, and it's revealed to you that he has stayed in the Third Wing Tavern, which is run by a married Goliath couple. And from questioning around, you understand that this is a route, that there is a safe house or a warehouse underneath here that some people believe does lead beneath the city. So these things are clearly connected. And you know that when he checked in, there was somebody else there. So you conclude this might be where Rasha is staying, and this might be where Nadan is, or at least was some time ago.
Okay. I guess. Yeah, should I resolve that afterwards then, as to what you would do with that information?
Yeah, but that's coming at the end with
Cool.
everything.
Cool.
So we will do Barnes and Aku next. Barnes and Aku. We will do the Aboleth stuff first then. So, investigating the Aboleths. So for the history checks amongst you, the highest was 19 from Ascor. Aboleth history is incredibly difficult to find. Books on them are sparse. So those of you who were investigating who rolled lower than that on
By the
history.
way, are these with D10s from Bardic? Because.
No, and it's too late. You should have sorted this out pre-session.
But you rolled right before. I told them to.
Right.
Hayden and Barnes and Ascor are the ones looking into the Aboleth. Hayden and Barnes, you struggle to find history books through the city's libraries or in the Alabaster Lyceum relating to the actual history or tales of the Aboleth. However, Ascor, in your kind of family's personal collection, there are traces and histories of them, and legends of them having an empire long before the gods that eventually came crashing down. It's theorized that they and the primordials were in some way the original owners of the worlds, and this can be shown by there are various underwater ruins that have been discovered via magical means that bear depictions of aboleths in godlike positions, worship, ancient languages scrolled on there, talking about serving, worshipping, and the glory of these creatures. However, in more recent history, you find that they're far diminished from that. There are stories of ones deep below various mountain ranges or hiding in the Underdark in large pools that they kind of fester around, taking control of minds of lesser creatures, goblins, hobgoblins, Duergar, the occasional dwarf, humans if they can, and building a fortification, very much looking insular. It's rare to see them together, and there are no, and they very much meld and corrupt the species around them to protect and serve them, rather than directly physically confronting any of them. There are no stories of tentacle monsters emerging from the sea to destroy villages, and their actual physical form, as you've seen, is relatively weak. So some great humiliation was done, or some great losses was done, because these aboleths that once ruled the world are now sporadic, separated, and found in dark, deep caverns where often they have goblins for servants. With the highest on nature, I believe it's a 14 from Barnes. From what you remember, as I said, they are relatively weak creatures, tentacles seemingly spreading through the water, red eyes, fish gills, kind of long squid-like bodies. The ooze that they kind of permeate and seems to be near their lair, you learn from the group, and also stuff that touching it means you can only breathe water for a certain period of time, which can prove fatal if you're not actually near water. Almost it's you very rarely find samples of these creatures. They have however, when they have done, they have an incredibly large brain to body ratio. They are renowned as incredibly ferociously intelligent creatures, but again of little physical strength. Arcana, however, is where Barnes and Hayden shine with a 22 and a 21. This is where you have more luck in the Alabaster Lyceum. The aboleths are renowned as incredibly psionic and magically gifted creatures. Despite their weak and fragile bodies, every text you see them mentioned has warnings of their intellect, magical capability, and their psionic ability, which extends far beyond their lair. It is especially powerful within it, where it is said that a certain area around, they can see through any body of water, kind of how they keep watch, understand what's going on, and that expands as they are older and more powerful. It's not known, and you didn't roll high enough to kind of know how they reproduce, but clearly they do. Creatures have been recorded as being very old, but also younger ones. What is recorded, though, is that every single aboleth contains, it's not just passing on its genes, or however it does pass it passes on its memories and emotions. Every aboleth has the emotions and memories of its parents and its ancestors, bearing the knowledge and burdens of generations. It is theorized if an aboleth could ever be coerced to truly answer questions and support or benefit humanity, or human-like races, it would be able to answer questions dating back to the dawn of time. However, like dragons that are incredibly long-lived, it means it is still experiencing those motions, those grudges. What humans consider to be the ancient past is current pain for aboleths.
So it's basically just Brexit energy all the way.
Given that these creatures
100%.
used to rule the entire world, you can only imagine the anger, the trauma, the emotion that they are feeling to this day at that loss. And it's theorized that despite their intelligence, despite the wisdom of ages and of generations, how much emotion can one creature and brain truly take? Is this an area where they could be manipulated? And how many of them are truly sane?
Take back control, mate.
Sounds like they need space to process their trauma.
You need a therapy session right here.
I'm not giving a therapy session to my aboleths.
Oh, that's me. That's my character, guys.
Therapize
So-
them.
We'll move on to, so one of the roles we did, Asqua, not delve too much into it, but you essentially continue to succeed at making your family think you are a doppelganger. If there is anything you wish to have gathered during that time, please message me, and I'll deal with it separately.
A large sum of gold. Thank you.
Large sum of gold.
They don't seem, so large sums of gold are relative to the Gavaldane family. In terms of the amount of sums you probably could have procured previously, fine. However, you do manage to convince them that going out and making large purchases is something that Ascop and Gavaldane would probably have done. And if you could make a persuasion check to decide how big that vast sum of gold would be that they are willing to give to a doppelganger to pretend that you're still them.
+10 here. See what happens.
Wait, can I inspire him?
It's
Unfortunately, you wouldn't be there. No.
it's just a 10. I'm gonna risk the biscuit. I'm gonna drop one of those sorcery points, and I'm gonna do it again. Watch how it goes down. Watch this big old drop. Oh, it's a natural 20. That's 30.
Oh, yeah.
Nice one.
30,000 gold is the sum that you managed to convince them that you can buy.
Cheers, bro.
Level 50.
Jeez. Just like that, you just get 30,000 gold. Just
That's my
Backstory stuff.
superpower.
What does
You're
a
all level
doppelganger
50.
have to do with gold?
It's convincing people he's going to go out and make purchases like Askel clearly would have done lavishly to show off.
Ah, I see.
it's
I
pocket
see.
money.
Yes.
What about slippers and things?
So, and given level
It's just
15,
like
it's given level
groceries.
15, it's not actually that much money, it's for real. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I've got 300k.
so, Aku. We'll do the drugs thing in a second. Kind of, there's different drugs. With a 19 on stealth, you take Zug's hat of disguise when he's sleeping. Aware of what happens to people who abruptly wake Zug up in the middle of the night, you're very careful. And you manage to escape unmurdered with the hat of disguise, which you use. You rolled a 19 on stealth, which you use to try and find a member of a low-level member of the class to bribe. However, this is where your good luck ends, and you roll a natural 1 on perception. And you have absolutely no idea where to start or what to do, and certainly do not notice any characters that you would want to be working around. So instead, you switch to attempt to investigate, going around your previous kind of contract where you met before. Here, you do ever so slightly better, rolling, I think, a 10. You meet someone who you've been told works for the class, but you aren't 100% certain. And his name is Regis. Seems to be perhaps a lower level member of the class. And does seem interested. Seems you're interested in buying drugs. And I think that's where you rolled, I think, 18 on persuasion. Seems to accept your bribes and passes on to you that given the recent passing of Shiling Shen, Nada Rashid, the dwarf, seems to have taken over from that. You pass this information onto Hayden and Kaz to help them with their endeavors. However, that's not where your drug buying endeavors kind of end. Well, certainly not entirely. With their dutiful son out for much of the day, weaving his deception and lies, you spend a lot of the time acting the perfect host and gentleman for Mr. and Mrs. Stoutkhan. You help them around the mansion, you help them navigate the imps, you are charming and you are sweet with a natural 20 on a charisma check. With a natural charismatic smile, you manage to persuade them. What you're offering is going to provide them the new experience that they haven't had before, and that their son will definitely be proud of them for trying it. And whilst it's not quite right for Kaz's father at this moment, Kaz's mum certainly does try with you the allure root tea you make.
So
drugged
then,
my mum.
how does she take it?
It's not just one night, it's several nights in a row. And despite drifting off to sleep some nights very quickly and a little bit of nausea and vomiting, the allure root has one residual effect. It does cause people to scry of the person they are thinking of most during this time. Kaz, could you make a wisdom saving throw for me?
Wait, no, they can't know that he's a criminal. That will ruin everything.
Oh
Oh
I
no!
can't believe this.
Wait, let me get up my character sheet. I was a fool. Okay, so wait, am I making a wisdom saving throw?
no! Wait, so can I just confirm? Was Aku getting high with Kaz's mum, or just
Yep.
giving her the chance?
I have, because of my mantle of spell resistance, I have advantage of saving throws against spells. Does this
Yep,
constitute
this is a spell, yes.
spell? Okay. Okay,
Yep.
so. Okay, that's first roll. Highest roll was a 16.
Okay, that does resist the relatively weak scry of allure root. So whilst your
I'll
mother
never know.
whilst your mother does see you scurrying around the streets of Waterdeep, it's not close enough to have an idea of what you're doing, and she knows you're out there, and it's nice to be able to check on you, and perhaps presumed if it wasn't that, it's a rather lovely dream.
But does
if I
Kaz
accidentally...
feel that he's being scryed on?
No, you just fail it. You don't.
Yeah, if you succeed, you don't know. You just...
Or
So let's do Barnes and Aku's drug taking foray. So in order to prepare yourself for kind of or assist you in the drug-induced therapy you wished before for Vespin, Barnes, you wanted to attempt it on Aku and Lanharath first. And whilst you rolling a 28 on persuasion, I think, or was it insight or persuasion for this one?
insight was 27?
No, this is a different one. I think it was 20. This is for
Oh god, that was ages ago. That was like 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
no, that's fine. So it's around the high 20s. You're convinced that what you've done has worked, even if the fact that Aku rolled an 8 means that you and the sessions don't get very far. Lanharath and Aku are both incredibly stubborn. This might well be something that gets picked up later, but even in a slightly relaxed, drug-induced state where you're attempting to disentangle this lifelong connection, they're both incredibly stubborn people, and it's just you don't also quite get it because neither of them, in some ways, they seem more like each other than they ever have before, but also operating on completely different levels. And it's not something you've personally come across, and you don't know how good the drugs will help with this. However,
So we spend a few days just having like a kumbaya moment in the
Yes.
mansion and the fake outdoor, like the fake natural outdoor biome, holding hands, Barnes strumming some tunes, creating the happy, safe environment. Aku just high as shit lying on the fake grass. He touched grass.
using that knowledge, however, you go over to Rosono with Aku occasionally, and with the help of Roman, Hesik, and everybody, you slowly but surely nudge Vespin Chloras occasionally into a state where, and I think you rolled 27 and then 32 on this, so into a state where much of the experiences you've had over the past 1,000, 2,000 years are not suppressed, but everything is kept beneath a layer of numbness, abstraction, detachment. And in this state, whilst not back to being the Vespin you are, you slowly begin to piece together who he was, talking to him about what you remember, if anything, beginning to see where he leads and takes that, to the extent that, like a bit of a wishing well, as I said earlier, when you throw a question in, it seems to cause ripples that get an answer that seems legitimate, even if those connections aren't made. So, as discussed before, if you could ask your 5 questions in the state to Vespin that you believe you are getting fairly, or at least from his perspective, truthful answers from, as best he can.
So to clarify, like he can't make connections between the answers, and he's not really a person yet. He kind of just
In this,
knows
yeah,
stuff, answers in the right way, parrots back
yes,
an answer.
at least at
Okay.
this point. Increasingly, there is progress, but we're not there yet.
Okay, so I guess under the watchful eye of Asik Thalis, I guess the first thing Bonds would ask Vespin Chloris would be, all right, just to put this one to bed, Vespin, first of all, why did you open the Divine Gate and let the betrayer gods in? And he's kind of like sweating, and his eyes are like darting to the window, and he's just really hoping Vespin says something that isn't immediately cancelable.
Move again that it was possible, and replace evil with good.
Kind of blinks and like stares at the two-way mirror where he reckons Essex Thalis is standing. Just gives him a thumbs up, like, "Did you hear that?" He said, "Good." Okay. And I guess are these conversations all happening on like different days, and this is sort of like
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, then I guess at another
Just
time.
with that insight roll and just sending it through, a lot of it is kind of mumbled up, but these are like legitimate kind of strikes of lightning moments that you take to be truthful answers.
Okay. In which case, the next question would be, all right, you said you wanted to replace evil with good, but like, which evil specifically were you trying to get rid of?
The Lord of Shadows, the Lord of the Hells.
Oh boy, this is okay. And I suppose taking that in, yeah, he would immediately make the connection to Asmodeus.
Mhm.
I guess the, the next question he'd ask would be, how did you end up in the Wand of Orcus then?
A punishment for trying to save you.
Vibes.
Um, and probably he probably doesn't continue the session after that. And if anyone sees him later that day, he's probably pretty quiet in the library in Amon. Okay, I think the next one he would ask would probably be, but you said that that I deserved it when you killed me. If I deserved it, what did you mean? Am I a bad person?
I killed you to save you. You were twisted by him.
And I guess if Essek or Roman try and ask him any follow-up questions about this on the way out, he probably just walks straight past them and goes back to Amon.
Okay.
And question number 5. I guess having thought about it all night and stared at the ceiling and knowing really it's only one question and one answer he can get out of Vespin on a daily basis, he'll probably look over to the soul that Asmodeus left in his bedroom with a nice note attached to it. He'll go back to Vespin the next day and ask, all right, but you didn't actually save me, Vespin, because he's still here, and I just really need to know, how do I escape him actually, though?
Would he? I would need the deal contract.
You need the contract. I didn't sign a contract, did I? Surely not. Oh, I don't even remember if I signed a contract. I might have signed a contract. Fuck. All right. Oh,
Mine, not his.
yours. All right.
Power that keeps you alive. Mine.
Power that keeps me alive. Wait. Oh. But the implication being that Vespin's saying it's his power that's keeping Bonds alive?
Yep.
Or oh. Oh right. Right. Shit, that's really good news actually. I think. Is that good news? Would I rather be kept alive by a globally hated lich or Asmodeus? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Great. And I guess he'll continue those sessions for the rest of the week, conscious not to push him too much further and just try and make progress. And he really cannot wait until he can have a proper conversation with a Vespin Chloris who is more put together.
Okay, so obviously there'll some of you on that, and I appreciate you guys will talk at the end of this when I'm done talking. The final thing that is being done, and perhaps the weightiest thing that is being done, is the manipulation of the clasp by both Casadius and Hayden. Hayden, however, has gone missing, given the first pit. So you two are working in tandem, Hayden and Casadius, to destabilize the clasp, using the little fragments of information you've got about Nardor, about where Russia is, from the other people. Hayden, you work excellently. Your combination of the Out of Disguise, Minor Illusion, Phantasmal Force puts you in, and your intimate knowledge of how major players in the class will work, your natural 20 on Deception, you almost feel as if you're back as a member of the class. You get within a hair's breadth of Kari. It takes all your patience not to immediately strike out, but a 31 investigation, you find out almost every single detail of what is happening. You sneak into her private office, you find her schedule, you find her notes, you find the various export documents that she's been working with. It's a level of access that Hayden would never have got before. Dead Hayden. It's all at your fingertips. You know, for example, that Kari is under pressure from the smugglers already because their income has dropped massively due to much of the city's imports are on lockdown. People are unsure about a whole host of economic activity that's going on. There's the election. None of this is good for business. And whilst it's not ultimately Kari's fault, they are expecting her to solve it. And as the smugglers are only as valued to the organization as the money they make, they're threatened. Conversely, the Steel Song Trading Company, which you learn to be a legitimate blacksmith business, is actually used for smuggling of weapons run by Harrock. You never quite knew where that came from in the city. You find it. Has done exceedingly well. Harrock in his notes is increasingly insistent that he be given more power. The general commercial activities related to both weapons, commerce, and illegal substances that is directly at odds with the dwarf Zug told you about, Nada, who also seems to be making a play. There are notes that bear kind of their handwriting, that Kari has written things in the column like not approved, did not go by me, question later. So Nada seems to be stepping in where Shen once did without Kari's approval. You're also aware that the contracting business has been largely put on hold. These are the higher value, like killer contracts, like bounty contracts, monster contracts in some cases. The thing the class been known for or revered for has all pretty much been stopped to protect Asgor's father, leading to some of the higher members of the class, especially the assassins, not agreeing to not take on contracts for now. However, that was stipended by them essentially being subsidized for that by Kari quite well. Now a picture begins to form in your mind of sorry, 2 seconds. Of Shen previously, and the money the smugglers generated kept much of the class in line through song, spreading the rewards, and when contracts weren't as prevalent and keeping that side of the business, almost subsidizing it by keeping them happy. This has been fractured by the smugglers losing their money. They feel their positions are threatened. It has exasperated the other members of the class contract killers as they're castrated by Kari not being able to accept contracts, but also not being subsidized because there just isn't the money anymore. You look through all of this, and the only thing that you can imagine is that what is Asgor's father paying the clasp? There must be so much money coming in to offset all of this. There is nothing. There is not a scrap. And that is what drives you to keep going. And what you find deep underneath is a contract between Kari and Asgor's father, granting Kari and a subsidy company that doesn't seem to exist yet the mining rights of the Cinder Scar by the tal'dorei. This would be a massive undertaking, a large-scale venture. What is held under there in terms of raw, rare metals is incalculable wealth. And it would be almost impossible to do this as a leader of the clasp. Is Kari planning to quit? Is she planning to go legit? You're confused. And you've always been unaware that Kari favors the more exotic side of the activities. But nonetheless, this represents a desire to make an absolute lot of money, but also this isn't what a lot of the class would probably be okay with. It's interesting, it's signed by someone who is not a member of the tal'dorei Council. As a member of the tal'dorei Council, that's how Askel's father has signed it, so presumably this is under the understanding he would win the election. And this is the piece of dynamite you use to begin to light a fire around the class. You post copies of this in every single nook, cranny, secret, safe house you can, wherever it can be seen. Kaz, with this knowledge and everything that's been happening, with the heap of information you've been given by Hayden and Zug, you immediately go to work with your silver tongue, whispering in the ears of everybody you can, and destabilizing what is already beginning to tilt. You walk around parading the amount of money you made over in the Empire and the Dynasty. You talk about how happy you are to retire, handling kind of half truths in front of people whose livelihoods over the past couple of weeks and lifestyles have seen a pretty significant drop. In terms of vying for power, what you begin to focus on is who the group wants to win when they go. Melee Rumblestar, who I mentioned last time, you work out very quickly, would not be suitable. Nor do you think Harrick would be. Both quite bloodthirsty, both pretty dedicated to the nastier side of the business. And you do some work quenching both of their ambitions. Undermining those supporters, whispering in their ear, a lot of negging and gaslighting. And instead, you place a lot of faith in reaching out to Zeta Lacrick, a meticulous dwarf who has always come across in your dealings with her as a pragmatist, someone you can work with through conversation, someone you can work with. You begin to form an idea about what's happening with her, and you gently nudge and push her towards thinking maybe it's time that someone with more of an eye for detail compared to Kari's flamboyance takes over. You secure yourself what you imagine if she were to take over to be an ally, roughly, who perhaps would wave away whatever has happened in the past to some of your dead co-conspirators. And you begin that process to influence her and begin the same way to take Melee Rumblestar, Harrick out of the mouths of what is being proposed. You link Harrick and the Strongship Company to what Kari is trying to achieve with Askel's father. Sorry.
It's going down, y'all.
Oh yeah.
And that's what Kaz is focused on. Very much having you understand the political environment that's happening. You know that as far as the clasp is concerned, it's getting near to melting point. That document that Hayden found has caused Harrick, who clearly wasn't included and feels he should be at the very least as the guy in charge of weapons manufacturing and all of this, to be furious. The kind of more glamorous side, again, the contract killers don't know how this is going to fit in, and the smugglers believe that going legit is only going to make people at the top money, and they've also seen themselves something thing. So with this sort of thing, you imagine that Kari is currently running around doing a lot of damage control, or having to basically realize there are certain places, maybe even within Imon, that she doesn't visit anymore and kind of only deals with through subsidiaries or letters. You know, she doesn't go to the Skyship Port anymore. You know, she doesn't go to this anywhere on Abdul's Promenade. She keeps herself to mainly the Wishing Well Casino and the Black Swan, the two places where she entertains higher value clients, where higher value contracts are offered, and where she's generally been most comfortable anyway, but she seems to have returned and is trying to operate the clasp from those locations. Sitting down, combining all this information together, you guys have several options before you can go deal with the clasp, or the seeds are very much sown. You guys have people who you could probably try to implement afterwards. You have factions that definitely would not help Kari. Your main concern, as I've mentioned before, is that anywhere you attacked probably has tunnels underneath. Kari would almost certainly attempt to flee And it's just where she would go afterwards, or what method you would put in place to stop that are kind of the concern, and where she would be on any time. Ultimately, finding Kari's schedule, it changes fairly regularly. You do know that Hayden, you do know that kind of Kari's the Black Swan put on a performance every Friday. She doesn't like to miss it. It's pretty much the only place you've begun to pin her down to with any regularity over the past 2 weeks. She's went to both of them on Fridays. You have also we've also found out that the tavern that Brasher is meeting is a small safe house for the clasp, which again has tunnels underneath it going into the heart of Imon, the class network in general. So, to summarize very quickly, the clasp are, with those incredible rolls and the information found by everybody, are at each other's throats. There are vaguely 3 factions. You have found evidence that Kari is planning something that wasn't going to favor the clasp, and while she may be running around doing damage control, you expect she is thoroughly distracted. You have people in place that you'd want to put in leadership, maybe. Found by Kads and other people, and you know that Rasha is currently still looking for somewhere underground and is staying at the Third Wing Tavern outside the city gates, possibly with Nadan, possibly sitting on a way into the clasp's stronghold underneath. There are vague plans you could have. You could stake out for another week and try to get Kari at the Black Swan. You on Fridays. You could meet with Rasha and go beneath town, come up and try to find out what Kari is, or go deal with the Aboleth and then do coming up afterwards. You know a lot about Aboleths. You know ultimately what you probably need to do is get in a physical confrontation with them, dealing with kind of their minions or their long tendrils of influence with a creature of this intelligence. You're probably going to be running circles and manipulated. A group as powerful as you, especially now, you imagine Zug doesn't, it's like an Aboleth wants to be nowhere near the meat grinder that is Zug. It's just about how you guys are going to approach this now. There's an awful lot of talking. Let me know if anyone has any questions. As far as that's it, you've kind of got 2 or 3 major plans to choose from.
Yeah, I'm Sensei. I have a question.
Yes, hello.
Did we learn anything about the Aboleth Queen in our readings? Because I guess one thing we wanted to know is, like, what are we getting into there? How is she different? Like, what is that?
What were your
What's
roles
on
again?
with that?
Yeah,
What's
well, what's
up
up?
with
What's up? You
Yeah, we're
don't
dead.
know much. Either history and nature checks not high. Arcana, there are various depictions of her in the ruins that have been found, but the Aboleth language and history has never needed to be written because they all just remember it as if they were there. And therefore, other than whispered followings of minions and like mind slaves, you have there isn't really information written down because it all would have happened pre-gods, let alone pre-civilization. No, not with those roles.
Okay. I guess also as a note, Barnes would have shared with the party everything that happened in Rosanna, and probably also would have taken biscuits for Roman.
So say you're back in Barnes' mansion. That's where I spent a lot of time recently. You reconvened. You essentially are either about to go to the 3-Wing Tavern to meet up with Rasha, do whatever needs to be done there, go deal with the Aboleth, or you're going to plan to ambush Kari at either wherever she is, using the extensive network you have and the people who don't like her to ascertain where she is at that location, or wait until Friday to take her out at the Black Swan and plan your attack. D&D Boyband, what are you up to?
To be completely honest, if Zug had stumbled upon Rasha, there's a very, very low chance he wouldn't have attempted to talk to him, even if it was just by himself.
Would you like to
Like-
roleplay a conversation?
Yeah, I mean, he could he said that he found out where he's staying.
Yes.
So maybe with some trepidation, he kind of sits down in the tavern part of the place where he's staying and waits for him to come back so that he can kind of pretend that he's accidentally bumped into him.
Okay. Is this at the end of the stake and everybody else is nearby? or is this like a random day in the middle of the 2
This
weeks?
will probably be a random day in the middle of
Okay.
the 2 weeks, probably. Like,
Cool, cool. Okay, Rasha walks in, and you can see he's kind of got a bit of dust on him, a little cut above the eye. And kind of slams his hammer down, kind of before noticing you, and says, "Oh,
So kind of
So-
looks up and he goes, "Oh, fancy seeing you here." Right. Do I have to roll deception or?
yes."
Okay. That is a. That's a 3.
It's a 3.
It's
Right.
very obviously like it's very obviously looks like he kind of like is trying to make conversation with him.
Yes, fancy seeing you here. After
Yeah,
I told you to come find me if you wanted to help.
yes, of course. And he kind of walks up and he puts his arm around him and claps him on the back. He goes, "Actually, I need a lot of help. So, lots happened. I need you, however, just between you and me. I produces out of his pocket, out of a nice little pus-stained like handkerchief.
Oh, yes.
My ring's gone bad, and I think it's cursed, and I think that you know
Oh, that does look bad.
how
It
to fix that.
smells.
Yeah, it
Smells
smells really bad, and he kind of like covers it back up. Yeah, I don't want to leave it out. People start asking questions. Anyway, yeah, we're thinking about going underground to deal with the all the aboleth stuff like we talked about
Oh,
all the time.
You're doing this to help me.
Yeah, of course. Collab like a big group again. Just like old times. And he slaps on the back again. Just like old times. So, but you know what I'm like. I'm not great, with the aboleth mind stuff. And without this ring, I'm gonna be in big trouble. So I was hoping you could maybe help me out there.
Make a persuasion check.
Absolutely. He's completely genuine.
No,
Oh my
no,
God, my
persuasion.
rolls,
Yeah.
dude. My rolls. Can I get a lucky roll? Actually, I'm gonna blow a luck point. Fuck this. I'm I guess this is.
You'll get it back.
I can't keep rolling. Yeah, exactly. I can't keep fucking rolling like. Alright, that's fine. It was an 11. There you go. I'm fine with an 11.
Hmm.
I'll provide.
I'm not sure I can help, but I suppose I owe you. I can always try.
Oh, you're the best. And he
Okay.
kind of like tries to fix his ring or tries to get Rasha to
Yeah.
greater restoration of the ring and see what happens.
Russia indeed greater restoration to the ring in front of you, and there is no material change.
Oh.
Do you want me to hit it?
No,
Forge it anew?
I don't know if that'll work. Damn it! The little gnome man thing said that it was cursed. I was certain that would do something. Well, it looks like I'm back to square one.
You can get another one.
No, I mean, he looks a little bit kind of like flustered. He's like, well, this is like, I've had it for a long time. It's like personal to me. I don't want to throw it away. It feels a bit bad, like you shouldn't just throw things away.
Yes, it's bad to throw away things.
Yeah,
people.
exactly. Exactly, my friend. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Well, kind of not entirely oblivious to the undertones of what's being said, but at the same time, kind of try and brush over them. Like, well, we're currently well, I actually don't really know what we're currently doing. I'm no longer a wanted man, which is great. So I'm just kind of out and about. We're probably going to go underground at some point soon, and outside of that, I think we're just trying to get the clasp off our back. He says with a slightly muted voice. Just to keep you in the circle, so you know what's going on.
Yes, I suppose. Good luck getting your ring and whatever else you're doing. That's more important. Again.
Oh, nothing's more important than being this aboleth at all. Nothing. I just want to be fully prepared. Like we want to be ready. And this is me getting ready, and everybody else getting ready too. We're all getting very, very ready.
They're like stony face, haha, just staring at you now. Like, I suppose I'll see you soon.
Yes, absolutely, definitely. Haha. Yeah, I'll be back. Don't worry.
Hey. You leave Ratchet kind of stares at you, Archer. You keep like waving back, and he's dead-eyed. Okay. That happens. The rest of you presumably talk about your experiences, but also, again, roughly 3 plans. Try to find out what Kari is now. Go for her. Try to ambush her. Go to Rasha. Deal with that. And then when you're at Rasha, you can either go down, deal with the Aboleth, or use the path there to go under the tunnels and go back to plan 1 or 2. You guys chat, decide based on the information. I'm here for questions. We're just going to grab a drink.
Actually, damn, first question.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Have we heard from Mr. Cecil for Tom slash Zol Ziglibina, the Aboleth?
No,
Ziggurat.
You have not.
Okay. Has Ascol seen him about?
Ascor specifically went to see him about, but you understand that he has not been at work for a while, much to your father's chagrin.
Okay, he's got COVID. Got it.
Ever since the election stopped, he seems to have disappeared.
Okay. All right. Well, assuming we're back in the orphanage with our whiskey tumblers and devil servants, I guess this is what, the end of 2 weeks, and we've just finished. I imagine there's like whiteboards up, and like Cass and Hayden have just been like showing off their master plan on the whiteboard.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so this guy, like, because I just like pointing links and like, yeah, he hates this guy, so if we get him on our side, then maybe it just keeps like explaining.
Whereabouts are we
Alright.
at the moment?
Yeah,
So
with Kaz's influence and with everything that's happened, you basically have the main people who seem to be going for it are Zeta, which is who you presumably Kaz has secured allyship with, maybe, and Nada, who has steamrolled in and taken Chen's position. Harak is furious with Kari, but it's almost like, fuck this, I'm going to break off from everything and do what I want, especially after Kaz's negging and moving away from that. Rather than wants to take over, he just thinks he could just go in alone with his team. And everyone else has kind of been taken out of the picture by, despite being furious with Kari, everyone else at least is not directly going for leadership. They are either supporting Nada or Zeta as it currently is.
Do we get the idea that if Kari were to be taken out of the picture, we would want to make ourselves scarce to avoid the fallout, or would we be wanting to stick around in order to make sure that the chips fall in strategic places?
You'd probably want to make yourself scarce, but you'd want to arrange the prosthesis beforehand.
Okay.
So it would be a case of there's nothing, like, the class aren't opposed to taking down their leader. It's just you guys, it would be seen as an outside influence. Like the class were furious with Kari. Removing them and having you all kill them would just unite them against you with a new leader, rather than if somebody who was supported within took over. You've basically also got the point of class where Kari's murder by another member would be seen as, oh, finally someone got rid of her, rather
So
than
if we can stage it so that Zeta is at the tavern and assists us in killing Kari, and I mean Cass is involved with the group, we could just be hired hands who assisted Zeta in getting rid of Kari.
Oh,
you could
know,
certainly be,
the nice
except for
boys.
2 of you are dead.
Well, they don't need to look like themselves for the fight.
Yeah, they could be Baku and Baden.
That's the biggest brain
Yeah.
plan I've ever heard.
I'm pretty good when I get going, yeah.
That's huge. Wow. Okay. No, I like that.
And I mean, like, I know the routes in and out, and me and someone else could be waiting in the tunnel out of the place, because I can get us there. I know the way, and no one's going to be suspicious about me being down in a clasp tunnel.
I think so long as she doesn't have an opportunity to run away down through the tunnels, then, like...
Yeah, if we've got 2 of us waiting down there, at least we can hold it off, bar it, something like that.
If it goes really south, we just get our purple worm out of the Pokeball and, like, shove it down the tunnel and hope it eats her.
Or we could block it with the top. How big is your worm? Could we block
My
it?
worm is huge. Yes.
Good to know.
You get a roll for that one.
Yeah, roll persuasion. How big is it?
Oh, you know, like...
Or deception, whichever one's
40,
more
like 40 feet long or something like that.
Cass like gives bonds and up and down, just okay.
I don't know if units of measurements are the same post calamity, but I'm assuming it's like, yay big, right?
Concerning. Okay.
I did wonder.
Well, you can shove
why-
your worm in a hole if we need you to, but like, let's worry about that later.
I'll be ready to be flexible with it, yeah.
I appreciate flexibility. Thank you very much. Cass is just gonna down an entire glass of whiskey.
Great. So, all in favor of this well constructed plan?
That gives us a week, so if we go with that, we can probably do some other stuff in the meantime.
Is
Yeah,
there any reason that, like, you're a rasher friend, or we want to prioritize aboleths and what have you?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't be very good against an aboleth until this ring's fixed again. And Rasha couldn't fix it, so I don't know what to do anymore. Maybe I should talk to the nice lady. But I don't know how.
Oh, which lady?
Oh, the nice one.
There are
The
a
one
lot
that
of-
was actually she was actually a dragon. A very big green dragon.
Green one, right? Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
We
you
could
don't know how.
struggle.
Okay, it's at this point it
Quiet.
flashes. It flashes across Kaz's mind that he has so far failed significantly to find someone willing to smuggle his friends to Crackhammer. That dawns on his mind. Room's large.
Oh no. Oh, I've made a huge mistake.
Actually, I have a question. Like, while we're off executing this plan, what if it all goes south and, like, well, this house will stay up for 24 hours, but after that, your folks are out in the cold, or Laura's shop at least.
I
Do you have a plan for them?
I was gonna ask around and find someone who'll take them in my stead if anything goes wrong, but it's been a busy week and Mom's been so weirdly relaxed and happy all week. I didn't really want to lay that on. She's been so chill. I've never seen her like this before. It's great.
She does seem remarkably relaxed, right? Like,
Yeah, I think the
it's-
mansion's having a really good effect on her vibe. I didn't really want to stress her out with
I
that.
tried really
so-
hard to make it quite a relaxing experience. Like, I had it in a spa section way back there. Have you been?
I haven't really had time for the spa, no.
They used to
Oh, I
do
went to
like
brunch instead.
pitter patter of tiny feet on your backs and like get all the kings out and stuff. It's quite
That's
good.
good. But yeah, I do need to find someone who could maybe, get my parents to Craghammer if all this goes to,
I'm just asking because, like, okay, so your parents are mom and dad, right? But Roman is grandpa, so like, if I just took them to Rosanna, we could have like a little family gathering over there, and I'm sure he would because Roman just seems to be a stellar guy.
I mean, we just came from Rosanna, so
I can like teleport him, leave him there, like a little deposit, pick him back up, take him back to Amon. I just can't go. Well, somebody can get me the sigil for Craghammer. I could just take them myself.
Oh.
Was the Stream King?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, cool.
Yay.
Hello.
Hello. Do we know anyone who'd have the sigil to get to Craghammer? Because I guess teleportation's the only way in and out now, huh?
But I thought like Mr. DeRolo would know it, right? Or he'd know somebody who did.
I've yet to have an audience with Mr. DeRolo, so you'll have to take your word for that one.
We're best friends with him. I'm sure we could.
I can ask, sure. Is that a reasonable assumption, Jamie? No.
You could certainly ask.
Okay, well, that might be that one. You just pop them over and pop y'all over, and then you can find somewhere you like for them, and we can pop on back to Rosanna, or Iman rather, within, what, the day?
Probably.
So that's that problem.
Yeah, at least I can give them the gold and they'll be settled, and I can, if anything goes wrong, they're sorted, right?
Right. So then, your dragon problem, Zog.
Oh, well, we tried to remove a curse, and it didn't do anything, but it should have done. So, I guess that means it's not cursed. Which then, I don't know what's wrong with it. Just smells?
Is the curse more powerful than what your friend can dispel, perhaps?
Oh, no way. He has the power of a god on his side. If it was a curse, it'd be gone by now.
Oh, it's get that powerful.
Oh, very. Tremendously. The god of all
Good.
things golden and forge-like. And forges themselves, as well as forge-like items.
All things forge adjacent.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the god of like all things forge couldn't remove it, it's not a
Yeah.
curse. It's like
Well, I mean, that's just more of a guess on my part. I don't know what it is. That's the problem. Honestly, Bards, I couldn't tell you. It just smells.
I guess we sort of know that like the plague and the aboleths and what have you, they're all like related and it's all a thing, a great conspiracy tinfoil hat thing, right? So
Mm. And they
we
all tend
know-
to smell too. So,
yeah,
you know.
right. I've never sniffed an aboleth, but I assume it's not a good experience.
And like fishy. Although the only one we ever found was dead. So kind of rotting.
Must have been
Didn't
really
smell
fishy.
great though. It was really nasty.
Yeah.
But if we like go down and resolve your aboleth problems, then your ring sort of hopefully just stops oozing, right?
I mean, it could be that. DM, is there... So if I put the ring on and then ask someone to try and send him a message, would he still have the same mental barrier as beforehand?
You found the answer was no.
Oh, yeah, of course. So it is broken.
Yes.
Okay, but it's not cursed.
To
We
your
don't know
knowledge,
that,
no.
to my knowledge. I mean, are there
There's
curses
not a curse
that
that Rasha
like
could remove.
metagaming? I was about to say metagaming. Like, is there any curse that Greater Restoration cannot remove?
There are effects that Greater Restoration cannot remove.
Effects. Ah, cheeky. Why would you put such a complicated effect on a non-magical player character's item? Like, the fuck's he supposed to do about it? This is truly.
Tougher.
This is
Ooze,
just
dude. Stink
smell,
Get over it.
smell and teeth.
Get over it.
A natural one in a spooky dream has consequences. I don't know what to say. Like,
Ah, well, I always roll bad at the moment. This isn't fair.
Aw.
How do I unroll it? How do I use the lucky dice? Back in
go
the
back in
past?
time.
Go back in time. Use your luck roll.
Oh, it's just a dream, though. Dreams don't have real consequences. They're not even real.
Every warlock that ever existed looking at you like,
Dreams unreal. It's fine.
No, really can't hurt you. Nothing really happens in a dream. Also, we lost the tunes. Okay. So if Rash can't fit and all of the things he's done, I mean, Zug would still go out of his way in these 2-week periods to try and figure out what was wrong with the ring. So I have no idea what he would do now. I mean, he would be pretty stumped at this point, but like.
show your infected ring to Percy. Do it.
I mean, could do, I guess. Yeah.
That's a smart man right there.
Percy loves Raishan.
Actually, yes, he wants to show the infected ring to Percy. Can he try and find Percy and show the infected ring to him?
Mr. Rolo.
Right, so you're gonna ask Mr. Rolo,
It's a look at the ring, yeah.
look
We'd
at the
like
ring.
a teleportation
thank him,
signal
and
from Mr.
thank him.
Randall as well.
Yeah, we need a teleportation signal from Mr. Rolo, and we
Yeah.
also need him to fix an infected ring.
Yeah, that's gonna have no bad consequences whatsoever upon showing this to him.
Mr. Percy Rolo.
Yeah.
Okay, we led inside the palace and waited.
Is the whole gang here?
If the whole gang, yes, the whole gang is here, waiting. Several hours.
Did Cats bring his parents to try and like bribe Percy with how cute they are? Or...
I think it's me. I think he's making us wait because of me.
Oh, buddy,
Why
don't
would he-
do
why
that
would
to
he-
yourself.
Why would he make us wait because of you? What have you done?
Well, it's just a rivalry. You know how these things are.
A rivalry? Who is
Well,
rival?
he's intimidated by me. Wouldn't you be?
Oh,
I mean, this guy's already got all the power, and you're kind of just, here. So
Are you after
Oh
his
my
wife's
gosh.
position?
You're right. His wife's position. Did you just say that out loud?
Are you after it? Are you trying to get into her position? She's on the council, right? Isn't that sort of what you're trying to do?
I suppose you're right. You know, as they say, don't own things, just control them.
I've never ever heard anyone say that.
Never heard
that's a
that.
really weird phrase.
Oh, it does ring a bell. I think
Well, you've
Asmodeus
not
probably
been to
said
the
that.
same dinner parties as I.
I mean, I have, but I was probably out back stealing the silverware, so.
That sounds very like literal Lord of Hell sort of talk, but sure.
You talk about the Lord of Hell a lot.
Yeah, I do, Zug. I do.
Oh.
So, after some time chatting away,
This is probably like the day after, like Bonds had a massive like bomb dropped on him by Betancourt. He just looks at Zug like, "What do you want from me?"
Do I?
after the time, Percy DeRollo, blue coat, looking a little haggard, a little stressed, comes down the stairs.
The grinning faces of the nice boys.
Looks at all of you. Yes, I do talk about the Lord of the Hell a lot. Thank you. Yes. How can I help you?
Zug has a question for you, Mr. Rolo.
I wanted first of all, thank you for your help with the guard. It was good. I didn't die, and that was really helpful because I didn't want to die, and I think I might have done without your intervention. So thank you again.
Yes, I didn't expect to need a memo.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have penned the letter myself, but hindsight, as they say, is always better. Anyway, so I have a slight predicament of a very precious item of mine, an heirloom, not family heirloom, just heirloom to myself, is somewhat broken, and I was wondering if you would have any idea how to diagnose it. And also, these guys want some sort of Krakow sigil. We thought maybe you could help.
He's staring at you a little bit in disbelief.
Yes, and he kind of pulls out the ring, and he just shows him. And I imagine kind of like
Kind of pause a little bit at the
the
smell, but then kind of just composes himself a little bit, and is like, I think you've all fundamentally misunderstood our relationship.
Oh please! I honestly, I've asked everybody in the city, and nobody can help. Nobody has any idea. You're so smart.
Can you make a persuasion with
Half
disadvantage?
lean in and just like,
Please,
so smart. It was
you're
actually my
so
idea.
smart.
You just seem so intelligent, and I mean, to get into a position such as
You're in the
yours,
17.
you
Oh,
really
the
have
17 of
to-
persuasion.
add a bardic inspiration to that. That's why Cass is assisting you.
How much is it?
Esky,
So
you're
what, is
kind
is
of
that bardic?
Cass
D10?
is
Oh, it's probably
a
really dark.
baby-
here.
Cass
Wait till
is
later
a
on.
baby bard. Give me 1 second. Mine is still a d6. I apologize.
That's no. Why are you apologizing? So I'm adding a d6 to 17. Sorry, it's probably like really dark. The light's gone out. Oh, so that's going to be a non-natural 20 then.
Nice.
Oh, what's it?
A filthy 20. An infected 20.
An infected
An
20.
oozing 20.
I'm
Yeah, non-natural 20.
currently in a continent ravaged by plague, a city packed with refugees. Last time we spoke, you were going to rid me of one problem. And now
We
you
are still doing that, and trust me,
Oh.
it's going very well.
Oh, we're
Walk in.
so on that.
walk in here and present me with one of your problems. Is this a...
I just want advice. It's
will-
less of
A
a...
related problem, Percy. It's related to the
Yes,
plague.
I
It's,
will
it's like
give you the opportunity to explain to me
Uh-huh.
why I should give a shit.
Okay, I actually have a good answer for that one. and this is my non. So this ring helps protect my mind from, well,
Whatever's left of it.
mind control and yeah, exactly.
I see.
It's just not even phased by that constant.
Don't
And
talk to our
well,
idiots like that.
we are, we are, to deal with this plague. We believe that we have to fight an aboleth, and they're quite good at mind spells, and I'm quite vulnerable to mind spells. So this ring really helps.
Haven't you ever had a really dumb friend who just needed a little bit of help in the brain department? I mean, we've all got one, right?
Yeah, I was literally just thinking that, and I was like,
Think
will
about
someone
your
just say
own
this?
pet idiot. This is ours. But you still need him, right? You want him there. You love him dearly.
He does so much damage. I've seen him punch things. It's great.
He's like a meat
Come on,
grinder,
Dorello,
Percy.
you used to be an adventurer. You know what it's like.
Fine. Fine. I'll see what can be done.
Also,
Well,
Pike
okay,
has a,
just-
maybe
I'll have to
Pike
roll
has
a
a
piece
spare.
of-
Pike has a spare moment between, healing the sick or Vex always spot the weird oozing thing and takes a ring with the hollowed one hand and is that all? I'm sorry, the teleportation.
teleportation signal, sigil for Craghammer. I don't know it because this isn't my timeline. So
If I had a suspicious mind, I'd be wondering, just given me this and then asked for a method of leaving the city.
Oh no, this is a personal favor for me, actually. Hi.
Hello.
Cassadius Stouker, nice to meet you. And he'll hold out a hand and
This will very lightly shake it.
Cass will do his best like businessman handshake, like firm grip, good smile, toothy grin. I came to the city recently. I had some past dealings with some shady individuals. You might have heard of them. They're called the Clasp. And I'm just looking for a
Nope,
way to
can't
get.
say I have.
Yeah, that's what they all say. I'm just looking for a way to get some people I really, really care about out of the city and to Craghammer on the off chance that the things that we're doing involving the Clasp currently go a little bit south, and a trip to Craghammer.
Not that they ever would. They'll always go absolutely great, but
just it's insurance. I'm sure as an intelligent man, you understand the importance of a insurance policy.
Intelligence isn't some magic word you can say to me that will get you what you want.
I know it's not. I'm just pointing it out because I've never met someone that's like, I have a position as you. You seem really cool. Just
Have to make a persuasion check.
Mr. Dorello, you can't give us like national secrets and then be suspicious of us next week. Like, get a bond.
That is a 22.
22. I gave you something that would directly help me in what you are attempting, because what you are trying to do helps me and the city I am attempting to run and save.
we're all on the same team then.
You can't say Farina yet. How's she doing?
No, we haven't got her yet.
Okay.
It's rather
fair.
difficult at the moment, but
It
thank
is
you.
hard, I know. Yeah.
I will not be giving out sigils, because that method is unfortunately closed. Craghammer is not accepting teleportations from Imon for the time being.
Ah, shit.
Direct using their sigil, although are none of you powerful enough to simply teleport them away? Surprises me none of you are.
It's more they're my. He looks uncomfortable having to be honest about this. They're my elderly parents. I can't
As his
just.
face softens ever so slightly.
I can't really just dump them in the middle of nowhere, and especially with the amount of gold I'm going to be giving them. I don't really want them. Do you know? Could you advise a place they might be able to go or be teleported to that's not necessarily Craghammer, but that might be quite safe and secure? Or can I give you their address, their details? Could you if you hear that a handsome red tiefling was brutally murdered in a clasp attack, could you,
Gotcha.
send someone? I'll give you gold. I've got plenty of it. so-
I don't need gold.
Well, obviously.
Look, I can appreciate wanting to keep those we care about safe. At the end of the day, it's all that really matters. Why don't you allow them to stay here? I'm sure we can find a room.
Really?
That way I can make sure they're safe and keep an eye on all of you. We'll be coming back to them at some point.
Oh, my mom's gonna lose her shit. This is great. Thank you so much. And Cass will take Percy's hand and then grip his forearm and just like give it a good old shake.
Good. Those of you who are probably slightly higher passive insight maybe can see a slight smirk on Percy's face. He seemingly thinks it probably works out quite well, essentially having a hostage.
Cass is not there. He is not afraid that Percival Derolo's going to meet Cass's mom and be just enamored. He knows.
Okay.
That's great.
So, other than elderly relatives and broken magical objects, has there been any progress?
Lots.
Yeah.
Lots of it.
Any you wish to share?
Just depend on what our relationship is, Percy. I mean, you just seem sort of like a little cold today, so it's pretty, inner circle stuff.
I'm a little overwhelmed with everything that's happening, what I'm trying to deal with. But all of us walk through life quite so carefree.
Oh, we have a plan. We have a good one. Any instability in the class you might have been hearing about, you can tag these two, and he's gonna kind of nudge Cass and Hayden. Quite ingenious, actually, what they found and how they've used it. So
Yeah.
that's that for the plague.
Yeah.
We think it's going to take us going deep
Yes,
beneath the ground and beating up some crazy cosmic level entities. So
I'd heard Mr. Galverdane was giving out contracts he hadn't yet won an election for. Sumptuous.
Oh. Strange.
No, but
it's not that.
that was
strange,
you.
That-
You was
Oh,
it not?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
I mean,
split
it was.
Was
news.
that
yeah.
true or lies?
Oh no, it's completely true. That's just.
Sorry, I always give everything away, so I just by default say that it's not true.
We can revisit
We had
your
similar
earlier
rules in
comments
place,
about-
actually, for our idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I
yeah,
get it.
Still always
everything
gets it
you've
wrong
heard.
somehow.
No, everything you've
Yeah.
heard about the clasp and stuff they're doing, that's all truthful knowledge. We've just made sure the public know.
As for the plague, like I said, we need to fight a cosmic eldritch entity deep beneath your city and risk our lives, put it on the line, and hopefully it resolves itself. So that's sort of part 2 of the plan, but first we'll deal with home affairs.
Sounds dangerous.
You can say admirable if you like.
Jamie,
I'll
would
reserve those compliments for results.
would Hayden assume, since Percy gave him so much information on the clasp in the first place, that he's fully trustworthy just to let him in on all of our plans?
I'd say a decent chunk of what you learnt were in the reports. You know that Percy's motivations so far to most of you have been pure, but they haven't really either been tested. Like, I'd say you guys don't fully trust. You know he's not a member of the class, but you know he wants them to do what you're doing. So in that realm, yes. But anything else,
We also know
Yeah,
he's
no.
Vox Machina, the legendary hero that killed
True.
Vecna and saved
true.
the
All of
city,
this
and-
is true. You know the legend of Percy. You probably do, but your only direct dealing with him about stuff has been stuff he's been helping you with the class on, and he wants them taken down as much as you do.
Yeah.
He said as much last time, or more to the point, he'd be willing to make everyone look the other way because he can't go in and shoot them because he's too important
Cool.
and too well known.
I know that's true. Just kidding.
Same, bro.
So yeah, yes is the very long answer to that question, Hayden. Sorry.
Anyways. Mr. Rollo, sir, sorry, I don't know how to refer to you, Chancellor? Anyway,
Percy's fine.
okay, well, there should be some progress at the end of this week. Significant progress. with the clasp destabilization. So just hang tight, and I guess maybe be prepared for some stuff happening.
Any particular area or time the guard should not be there or be there, whatever aids in your plan.
The guard should. Oh wait, do we want them there or not? And he turns
What
to
was the name of the tavern again?
the Black Swan.
So there's the three. The next one is where you're ambushing Kari. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so we're gonna be doing a little bit of business in and around the Black Swan during the evening show. Maybe want you guards to turn a blind eye to the first couple of shouts for help, maybe.
We'll put up an obvious signal if we do actually want help. Maybe something along the effect of "Please help us, I'm on guard."
I believe the Grim Trooper playing on Friday.
Great.
There's Cass, who's the guy that you were gonna put in place of Kari?
Oh, was it lady?
Is it a lady?
It was Zeta Leclerc. She's a good egg. I like her quite a lot.
So, like, if we get her connected with Percy in advance, then like maybe he can like have his thumb on her, and then when she, takes Kari's place, then it'd be easier for him to keep things.
My involvement, arm's length, all times, please.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
It's fine.
okay.
But just so you know who we're lining up, Zeta Leclerc is pretty high up there.
I'll look into them. I hope they're committed to a safe room on. Well, I don't know what to say. They're going to lead a crime organization. I hope they're not too fucking bad.
Oh no, she's all right. She'll stab you in the back if you do anything to annoy her, but you have to annoy her first,
So will several of my best friends.
Oh, we have that in common.
Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, for our friends, I'm not saying anything about your friends. Your friends all sound amazing and heroic, and thank you for your service, sir.
Kind of like laughs a little bit. Often, as somebody taken from it, dying actually calmed me down.
It'd be absolute opposite to me. I've gone completely off the rails.
I suppose once the worst has happened.
I think I feel more anxious after I died, which I didn't actually think was possible because I was already pretty anxious beforehand. But
I'm sorry to hear it.
That's fine. It's normal. Anyway, we'll
You need to get some allure route in you, Hayden, like stat.
The heck's a low route.
We definitely do not know what allure route is. That is something we've never heard of before because it's illegal. So anyway, we're gonna leave now. Thank you, Mr. Percy Rollo, sir, De Rollo, Chancellor, sir. Okay. He's gonna start like turning to try to leave the room.
If it's helpful, I provide you with a full list of my titles.
Do I have to memorize it?
If you could before the next meeting.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Once his insight is high enough to know it, but he says nothing.
Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you, Percival Frederick Stein von Musso Kowalski de Rolla III. Good to see you. And Castle do a little salute and then just leave. I'll send my mom over later.
Not approvingly, the name said correctly.
I was so sure I was going to trip over at least one of them.
Good luck. I'll let you know about. And he holds it at arm's length still. And takes out a napkin and wraps it up.
See you on Saturday with good news, hopefully.
Okay, so should we?
See you soon. He kind of raises his eyebrows. You all leave.
I see such a bitch, guys.
I don't know, but that
Well,
man
we're not the
just
easiest
offered...
bunch to get on with, really, aren't we?
And that man just offered to put up my parents for a while, so if I could have kissed him on the mouth, I would have done.
Why didn't you?
Well, he's Chancellor. I didn't want to. I heard he's married as well, so.
Why would that stop you?
Well, it seems kind of rude.
Maybe.
Also, I've heard he's really good with a gun, so you know you're not gonna piss that guy off.
I don't get guns. Like, what's the point? Just blast them with magic. I don't understand.
Some
Well,
people
not
don't
all of
have
us are
magic.
magical, but yeah, exactly.
Why keep forgetting that? Right? It's crazy. Ah. Oh, anyway, right. We have some days till Friday.
Yes.
So, I think a good plan by the end of the session, we can deal with perhaps the downtime that occurred, if anybody wants to talk about amongst themselves, and also get to the end of the session with you guys setting up the ambush ready for it to begin.
So we're doing ambush, and then we'll worry about Aboleth after the clasp stuff. Or are we going to do the class? Are we going to do the Aboleth during the week? What's the plan?
What is the plan? Sorry.
Aboleth is going to take us more than a week, you know.
Isn't it?
It's going to be like
We're gonna go all the way
11
underground and
days.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clasp is a lot faster, I think.
Yeah.
'Cause we're just it's one assassination.
And we want to make ourselves scarce after we've assassinated her as well, so it makes sense to do that first and then go underground after.
Yeah. I mean, I guess is there
Wait,
anything
if
we
we're
need to do in
going-
the week?
Yeah, so if we're gonna go straight underground, almost straight away, upon that, surely we should. If anyone wants to do any shopping or anything, it should have been technically
Supplies.
done this week,
Yeah.
right?
What money do we actually have at our disposal? Because we got the 60k from Roman.
Well, yeah, boy, you just got a cheeky 30k on an actual 20, so that's a
So we
thing.
got like
Nice.
90k.
So I guess we should get some cool potions and some diamonds and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say just health potions wouldn't be bad, or fancier potions than that would be dope, but I don't know how expensive they are.
Okay, so I do have standard pricing for potions, which I will say we can set standard DCs. We don't need to go through bartering for. Magical items are a slightly different topic. So if you guys, given Cass and Barnes are in this party, I suspect whatever DCs I set are about to get blasted. So I will say, you guys just, assuming you guys are going to barter, can I just have 3 rolls of persuasion, and I'll reduce the pricing by that from 3 different members. So I assume Barnes and
Free persuasion.
Yeah,
rolls.
not
And
normal.
Ascor.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Ding, ding, ding.
How do you have advantage?
Patched off.
I do.
Oh, you're doing all the talking.
Can't just
That's a 27 on persuasion.
33.
Honestly, you can't just ask why I have persuasion advantage. Racial
Well,
trait,
I mean,
man,
I will
come on.
ask why you ever let me talk to anyone ever then. It's
This is funny.
I guess it's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
rolled
Final.
21 there.
Okay, all of those you guys can get the lower range of these costs, which means a potion of healing is 30 gold, potion of greater healing is 80, potion of superior healing is 450, and a potion of supreme healing is 4,000. I'm gonna write those. I'm gonna write those down in chat. So we've got
What
30
the hell does
gold.
Supreme healing do?
I know.
Yeah, how much
Potion of
is
supreme
sup-
healing is 10d4
Is, like,
plus
huge.
20.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's a lot. 10d4.
Yeah.
Just fucking one shot yourself back to full HP. I was definitely planning on picking up a few health potions, but probably the one below, I guess. The 451.
Cass will pick up 3 greater, if that's okay.
Yep. So 240 gold, and then, sorry, yeah, 240 gold. And how many superior healings do you want, Zug?
I didn't say any supreme, I said greater.
No, sorry,
He
Zug.
said she's
Sorry,
yeah.
superior, Zug. Sorry. So 3 greater is 240 gold.
I mean,
Cass.
money is. Fuck it. What the fuck are we saving for? Retirement? Yeah, I'll get 5.
Some of us, yes.
I meant in the game.
Hey, Cass is saving for his parents' retirement.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. You're saving for your parents' retirement.
Because he ain't gonna retire and he'll be dead long before they are. Whee.
Okay, so potions come first. If you guys just want to buy potions, give them to yourself and just leave a note under the comment thing. What?
Could you please include on the list of how much they heal?
Yeah, I'll go back
Thank
and edit
you.
it. That's okay.
Thank you.
I always forget just kind of how crappy ordinary potions are.
I mean, I think you're supposed to be using them when they're relevant.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, 44 healing is. I guess it's supposed to be a gold sink as well, just in general. Like,
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, you should have a healer in your party.
Yes. Yes, one of those.
Oh, I already had a potion of greater healings. Now I just have 4 of them. Great. Amazing.
How much the potions for great healing do?
44 plus 4.
44, yeah.
And in total, we have 90k.
How much,
Is
how much
that
health?
split between everyone?
Yeah, how much
sorry?
health do you guys have? Because obviously, like,
Cass has a nice, tasty 108.
What, really?
Squishy baby.
I have
Sure, now down here
127.
at 79.
You have some how much health, Hayden?
160.
Power with kill range.
Oh no.
The DM licks his lips.
Disintegration range right there.
Is disintegration 0? It is 0, isn't it? It's not even death.
Yeah.
Yes, when you hit 0, you
Yeah.
you just get
Maybe
disintegrated.
finger of deathable if you high roll it.
Yeah. How much does Finger of Death do?
It's
It's
like
whatever the damage is plus 40,
plus
right? Or something?
78, I think.
Oh,
40.
jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez, I mean,
So-
I've seen one PC be disintegrated, and I would not recommend it. Terrible though.
Yeah, like is the money like party accessible, or because I don't think
actually
Barnes
have
technically ever
one.
had any access to money, so
I have one free slot for a. Now that my hat of disguise is gone, for like an achievement item. So I wonder if there's a cheap one I could pick up that might be useful.
I suspect you might have to be given that back eventually by.
Yeah, true,
Please
but it's
do
not like
it back
that
in your
useful in
room.
combat, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know, like I guess if we're going aboleth hunting afterwards, like what's sensible to bring down to the Underdark?
Yeah.
Is there
Torch.
anywhere that does sell stuff like Ring of Mind Shielding?
Well, there will be if you want,
Gilmore's.
surely.
Can we go to Gilmore's?
You can go to Gilmore.
Yay!
Cass kicks down the door. He's about to fire his boyfriend. And he's a sugar daddy right now.
Unfortunately, as you kick down the door, there is a large figure of, as everybody knows in animation, a well-dressed purple robe man who says,
Beautiful man.
"Welcome to Gilmore's glorious goods," and then immediately the illusion fades to reveal that Gilmore, with his franchise shops all over, is not actually currently here today, and instead there is kind of a wide-eyed, robed, magical student intern, seemingly, who's kind of sitting behind the desk, flipping through a book, almost like startles as you knock him off. He's hello, welcome, yes, well, there's rather a lot of you. What can I do for all of you?
We're looking for like magic rings and stuff, like for like protecting your brain from being controlled. You got anything like that?
That's a oddly specific request.
It's a very specific fear of ours.
Yeah, he's very
Fear of mine,
paranoid.
too.
He had an incident recently.
It was very unpleasant.
Well, you obviously have, your standard suggestions, some rings with some green jade in them. Standard rings of protection, protect you against all forms of attack. Physical, mental, magical, anything you could need. Are you going to be seeing this attack happen? Is it going to cast at you? What exactly are you worried about taking control of your mind? There are limits to what is achievable.
Mind flayers.
Yeah, those.
Seen diagrams.
Oh,
Well,
they're very real.
Eldritch horrors from the great beyond as well.
Do you have any rings that make you resistant to like psychic damage? Or other
That would be
items of clothing?
smart. That's very smart, Zog. We should be resistant to that. Yeah.
you see him kind of take out the thing and kind of open up a box, and a load of like rings kind of scatter, and a couple of them kind of got like kind of a pearl with a little bit of kind of green liquid somehow inside seems to slosh around. There's a garnet that seems to explode a little bit of fire, a sapphire that almost seems to crack and reform. Could you roll 4 d10s for me, Zug? And the number you're looking for is 8.
Give me a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got a 1, a 4, a 9, and a 1.
Kind of looks down, and so we've got nothing for force. Sorry, nothing for psychic. We do have thunder, poison, kind of necrotic, force. Any of these useful?
Hey, that time where we fought Ghost, what were those things throwing at us? You remember the monsters?
I thought like Eldritch magic is the
Yeah, that
force, right?
I don't know.
Force
I
stuff.
thought you guys were the magical type, like you'd know.
Well,
I didn't fight ghosts with you, so I don't remember. But
more
yeah.
importantly, how much do all these cost?
Oh, these are relatively cheap. It's about 1,500 gold per ring. For these particularly.
Cass puts his hand on Zog's shoulder and just leans in, like, just because it's affordable doesn't mean it's a good idea to buy it, you know?
Yes, but I can't spend money when I'm dead, Cass.
Fair
you
point.
can, you can, Zuck. I. You
Unless
just
I'm
take points
you,
down
but
to
I'm
yourself.
not.
So, any of those interesting?
Do we need to like concentrate on keeping these attuned to our souls at all, or they just stick them on and have fun?
No, you will need to
Oh,
spend
which
some time
ring?
meditating with the items.
Which rings were they again? You had lightning resistance.
Force resistance.
Acid, poison, necrotic.
I'm trying to think what types of damage you've taken. I've definitely taken the necrotic, but I think that was mostly from the solar, right?
Yeah.
You can't usually
unlikely.
reduce necrotics. That's always a handy one.
We could be. Yeah.
Like, even if a barbarian's raging, you can't reduce necrotic
But
damage.
they also, the aboleth stuff tends to do some acid damage though sometimes, right? Like, I feel like I've been hit by quite a lot of acid damage.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
How many?
Or poison
Oh,
even,
okay.
sorry.
How many rings does he have of each? Does he have multiple, or has he only got one of each?
Multiple ones.
But only of those 4.
Wait, lightning, force,
I mean, I guess-
acid, poison, and necrotic. That's 5, right?
5, sorry, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I described some at the start, so he has.
So I'll go point at the poison resistance one. I'll be like, I have that one.
Of course, and he'll take it out and.
And he then turns excitedly to the rest of the group who are holding the money, like, oh, I'll take that one, I'll take that one.
There's like an amethyst.
Excited child.
Like an amethyst embedded in a golden ring, and puts it out and goes, "Very well made, if I don't say so myself. Here you go. May that keep you safe."
I wonder if the necrotic
thank
one
you.
might be useful for like other rot and what have you.
I was thinking of buying that
Plague.
one.
Go for it.
I think he's got a couple. Hayden's gonna pull off his glove and actually pull a ring that's currently he's attuned to off of his finger, and he's gonna hold it up to the Gilmore's assistant, I suppose, and say, "How much would you do? You buy stuff here as well?"
We most certainly do.
Would you?
May I?
And yeah, and he'll hand it over, and it's a Spy Master's ring, which gives him advantage on investigation checks, I believe. Unfortunately, my custom note that I used to have written on it got deleted by D&D Beyond. Thanks, D&D Beyond. So I don't have the original copy text for it, but...
Okay. And looks it. What's it do again? Sorry, it gives you advantage on.
I think it gives you advantage on investigation checks. And I think it's like you can't, if you roll a 1, you can re-roll it or something.
Looks at it. And were you interested in a ring?
Yeah, I would like to get this one, and he points to the Force ring and the Necrotic ring.
Yeah, so the necrotic ring is again, they're all kind of gold bands, but the gem inside seems to dictate what does. So this is like a kind of jet black stone for the necrotic one, and the force damage is a sapphire. Because I will trade you these two for your one.
Oh.
Do we have a deal?
Yeah, we've got a deal, and he'll trade that.
Wonderful, and he does it a little bit too quick for you.
I think I just got scammed. That's fine. Cool. Delete that.
And the price of this one as well? Kind of looks over at Zuggs, who's happily smiling, holding his ring. Are they gold, sir?
Oh yeah, well, pay the man.
Smiles at the rest of you.
Cass just holds his hands up and turns the other way, like I'm not with the.
Oh, look at me. I'd actually. Do you have any dust of dryness?
Yes, of course I do.
I remember once I was at a lake with my grandmother, and I had some, and I chucked it all in the lake, and I stole all the water and threw it away because it pissed me off.
A bag should be about 15 uses, I think.
Right. Okay. Cool. Very good. How much?
50 gold.
50 gold. How much does 15 uses cover?
Well, it's about 15 cubic feet of water, so...
Are you gonna dry out this aboleth? Like
I'm going to desiccate the aboleth.
Turn it into a nice,
Can I get like
mushroom?
loads of bags of dryness dust?
Yeah. An odd request. I suppose we have not that used. But for
Ever since I was a
emergencies.
boy, I had a dream of defeating the sea. I would like enough dust and dryness to remove the coastline from Amman.
Well, I can't quite offer you that, but I can certainly attempt to sell you a good start.
Right, please, you help me on my way towards my goal. One day
this
when
guy
the
is like,
ocean
"Oh, yeah,
is
you can get rid
off
of
on
the
the
ocean."
horizon.
Lots
Think
of
of
wacky
me.
people in this shop. He offers you 20 bags.
I will take 20 bags of dust of dryness.
1,000 gold.
Yes.
Before he hands them, though, he does look at you and like, the gold for these and the ring, please.
Sure, who has the money?
You
Hayden,
all
are
keep
you...
looking at each other. I'm beginning to think that none of you have the money.
Why is
Who
everyone so
does have the
suspicious?
money? Who does have the money?
I have my money. I don't know where your guys' money went.
Well, no, don't you have the bag of
We
holding
have
with
group
more than
money.
60k?
We have... Someone does.
I'll pay for it. It's fine.
Oh God, do you? You're calling it my money.
How much is it?
Everything? I can't remember how much we spent. Probably like 2-3k.
Also, I never updated my inventory to add all the money that we got from.
It was 1,000 and 60,000. Sorry, in the bag of holding.
60,000. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Zug's item was 1,500 gold for his ring. Barn spent 1,000 and you didn't spend anything, so it's only 2,500.
Yeah, and I want 3 superior healing potions, so that's like 1,500.
Wait, so should I add 60,000 gold to
hold
my
on, wait.
bag and then deduct what you guys are
Yeah,
spending?
and then just deduct the total amount. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so rich! I'm gonna run away and go start my new life somewhere else. Okay, 68,000. Okay, right, so Hayden will hand over the money that is requested. So, Hannah, you just calculated it, right? It was 2,500?
2,500
Okay.
for the rings and the dust.
Remove. There we go. Hayden pays in full.
Thank you. Hands it back.
Welcome.
Pleasure doing business with you. Is there anything else in the shop that interests you? I'm sorry, I don't know of any rings that directly could protect your mind, but we have rings that will regenerate your health. We have rings that will keep you invisible. Maybe if the thing can't see you, it can't influence you. Maybe. Ever wanted to be invisible, big guy?
I've been invisible before. It was
Oh.
alright.
No. He kind of nods, agreeing with the experience.
I mean, I can't. I don't think I can really take any more rings anyway. I've got quite a few. I'm still trying to fix one of them. It's broken.
Would you have any like magic carpets or like flying brooms or like hovercrafts or cars or any
Zog just
arcane
laughs. That's ridiculous.
automotive things? Any vehicles? Do you have any vehicles?
You wouldn't be asking me to sell you contraband now, would you?
What? What do you mean contraband?
Vehicles?
Flying broomsticks were outlawed by Miss Exandria quite some time ago.
Oh, I'm.
Why?
So she's the
I
only one who's
unearthed.
doing it.
But what about carpets? Flying carpets? Or vehicles?
Vehicles? You just made that word up.
No, Zog. I'll tell you later.
Do you sell any like really strong armor?
But I certainly could. Our more valuable items aren't necessarily kept on site. Theft, you know. But I could see if we could get a magical carpet brought here that would
That would
fly.
be
Although,
sick.
although I must remind you, whilst the possession of them is technically allowed, flying them at night is not. No romantic trips up to the top of whatever hill you feel like. Okay? This gets
Why
back to
not?
me. I will be most miffed.
Oh, you don't want him to get missed.
Nobody
That would be
does.
bad.
So you'd help me get rid of the sea, but you won't let me take my beloved for a picnic?
I don't think you're getting rid of the sea.
Watch me!
Hold on, Barnes. This guy is pretty peeved. You don't want to see what happens when he gets miffed.
But exactly.
Well, that's a good point. I don't know if I can handle it. No, but how much is the carpet? How...
25,000 gold pieces.
Easy, done.
Awesome.
Done. We have to have it.
Wait. That's like
What do you
like
mean we
almost
have to
all of our
have it?
money. No, we do not
How
need
is that even
this.
helpful?
Guys, think about it. Zug, you can't fly. We're fighting aboleths that like float in tendrils and shit. We're fighting magic stuff that floats. Ghost is some like interior thing. The fact that we can't fly reliably is mad. Also, we're going to the Underdark where there are like ravines and shit. Like when we fought Deseret, you know, the Phoenix. Like that was hard. We couldn't keep up with it. We need a way to keep up with it. We need a vehicle. Also, it's cool.
Flying was pretty useful.
Okay,
I
that's
understand
actually
I
kinda
can't
got a
fly
point.
anymore, but
What?
Sir, out of curiosity,
Yes.
what is your most expensive wear?
Most expensive in the shop or most expensive in our entire collection?
I'd assume it's
You should
Gilmore's
tell me
time,
both.
right?
Gilmore's time is very valuable. Well, the most expensive item we possess is, in the entire thing, is we have various Ioun stones of a higher affinity. The Ring of Telekinesis, I believe, is Gilmore's special project he's been working on for some time. And finally, Helm of Teleportation. Now, within the store we allow you to keep, well, we have probably one of the various wands on the side, or some of the rings over here, and he kind of points over. There's varying values between 10 and 20,000 gold.
Thank
I'm
you.
just gonna lean down next to Hayden and say, and Hayden, think about it. You could take Aku on a romantic magic carpet ride.
What?
I said...
No, he says it quietly into Hayden's ear.
That
You
there's.
imagine
I don't
clinging
do.
to his weight
No.
behind him. He's so reliable and sturdy. You could, it'd be like riding a moorbounder.
It sounds like your
What's
fantasy, man.
happening?
I don't know. That's. No. And he's gonna like turn around and busy himself with looking at one of the shelves.
Inside check.
What are you insight checking?
Is Hayden? It's a natural 20. Is Hayden flustered, or is he just really not into the idea of going on a magic carpet ride with Aku?
Hayden actually doesn't come across that flustered. He comes across as someone who's just bewildered because he doesn't really see the appeal of a romantic carpet ride. You maybe get within that 20, you maybe get the sense that romance isn't really something he's super interested in.
Well, that's just shakes his head. I don't understand this place, this time. I don't understand these people.
He seems more
Cass will
annoyed.
give him a little pat on the shoulder. He's not sure why he's upset, but Cass was giving him like half-hearted, kind of like, yeah,
Cass,
you're
I've
right.
just realised more and more that everything is wrong with the world right now. And I think I'm partially responsible for it. Like, I did this. I made Hayden into somebody who doesn't enjoy carpets.
I mean, does he prefer a stone floor?
Probably. It's less romantic, I suppose.
It's romantic about
Flying is a little bit disconcerting.
You okay over there? Is there
Anything I can help you with?
I'm
You
great.
get burns on your knees.
Oh, right.
Hayden's gonna try to sell some more things to Gilmore's assistant.
He's worked out a lucrative business
Jamie,
here.
what did
Tobias.
Jamie? What did Percy end up saying about Zug's ring? Did he say that he would like ask someone?
He
Or...
said he
nothing?
tried to help.
He was gonna ask Pike maybe if she was
Yeah.
available.
Sorry. Yes.
Oh yeah, ask Pike. Can he ask this little guy if he knows anything about this ring? He whips it out. He's like,
no, Percy has it.
Kept
but-
it.
Percy
oh,
has
of
it.
course. Oh, Percy kept it, didn't he? Oh shit.
No
Alright,
ring
that's
for
fine.
you.
Alright, no problem then. I forgot that he doesn't have it.
Right, if we're not going to buy the carpet, how do I make 25,000 gold in a week?
I don't think that's my problem.
Well, I thought we decided we're buying the magic carpet.
Are we buying the
Just
magic
play.
carpet? I thought you didn't want the carpet.
Well, no,
Are
you
we
made
getting the
you
carpet?
made a good use case argument for Zug flying around smacking things in the air.
We're going to have the carpet?
I mean,
Oh my goodness, I can't wait.
I guess. He'll kind of like look at the others in the group to get a sense of whether they think it's a good use of their money.
Well, grab a carpet. Let's go. Why not?
All right, we're gonna buy the magic carpet.
We can all pile on and hold hands at the same time. It's going to be great.
Okay,
by the
so the
way,
carpet
during
is
the
half up front,
indication of-
half next time.
Oh, sorry,
So
What? No,
You
we
can't-
can just pay the entire thing right now.
it will be here in 2 days.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Half up front? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
pay it all if you want now, but a lot of money.
No, we'll
We're very
we'll pay
rich.
half and half. Wait. So how much is it?
Why would
total
you
again?
say that?
Because we are, as far as I can understand. I don't really understand money.
How
So,
much
Can
is
be
half one?
exchanged for goods and services such as these. Really, you've got gestures to everything in the shop.
What 11,250. Thank you.
Okay, 11,250 is handed over to Gilmore's assistant.
You know, I used to get paid 1 gold a week at the city guard.
Times have changed, buddy.
That's like
A week?
11,000. That's like 11,000 weeks.
The
Did you
worth
need
of
a
a
flight?
day
In a
of-
lifetime.
The worth
Did-
of a day of your life was 1/11,000th of this carpet we're about to buy. How does that make you feel? Isn't that
Wow.
mad? That's mad.
It is a bit mad. It does make you think a lot, doesn't it?
It's
Wow.
why it
Everything
is
has
because
a
of the
value.
calamity.
I would perhaps venture that ultimately price is decided by the market and the number of people who can make flying carpets relatively low, number of people who can be guards relatively high.
The market
True, they
corrects.
do. They do employ almost anybody.
So don't think about that. No, you're special. You're great.
I'm not saying
Oh, now
Garth
I am.
isn't special. I'm just saying skill sets.
Jamie, he would like to look around the shop and see if. Actually, no, he'll just ask the shopkeeper if there's any other items that can are usable without attunement. Like, what kind of stuff has he got kicking about?
Could you make just make an investigation check for me?
Okay. That is a 23.
Okay, so a lot of the kind of items that aren't attunable are the one use stuff, but some of the stuff that's permanent as you're walking around, there is a set of adamantite armor.
Okay.
Obviously a bag of holding.
Mhm.
There is a necklace of red gems, a necklace of fireballs.
Yep.
An iron flask with kind of an upside down A engraved on it.
What does that do?
So this item, if you so choose, could hold an entity for some time. If you release it,
Entity.
I believe it is forced to do your bidding for some time. If you can put it back in the flask, it will do so again.
That's legal?
It's not illegal.
Morally questionable, perhaps. What
Oh.
else?
It's purely a preventative defensive measure for somebody who is going to break inside your house.
I see.
There also are various potions you're looking for.
Yep.
And various scrolls, which of course require no concentration on your behalf. Well, no prolonged concentration, certainly.
That
However,
of fireball sounds kind of spicy. How much is that?
I'm so glad the internet decides these things. Imagine having to come up with an economy on the fly.
True.
Yeah, well, that's a fairly new one. It's got 7 available ammunition, so it's just maths 1,050 gold.
Pretty good for some free fireballs. But can anybody use that?
Yes.
Zog.
I wouldn't recommend children.
Oh, that rules you
Animals?
out. No, I'm kidding. Zog, do you want to make fireballs?
Make fireballs.
That was an emotional roller coaster. Holy shit.
That sounds pretty dangerous.
You can throw them at shit and like blow it up.
I could throw them at shit. I could blow things up.
I feel the need to warn you not to eat them.
Oh no, I won't eat them. That's stupid.
I think you'd
It would-
probably
it
get
would
quite
be.
a bad tummy for it.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty sturdy.
I don't want to find out.
Eat the
I
fireball.
dare you to eat 7 of them.
I'm not eating the
Please
fireball,
not
Jen.
in my shop.
No, I'm kidding, but I think that's actually pretty good value. Some fireballs to eat around.
That's not bad actually.
It's not attunement, right? The
Necklace is not fireballs.
It's
I'm
just a-
assuming that
it's just
Mage
one
Arcana
except-
Necklace is not
wants to shit
fireballs.
about magic
Fireballs.
items.
Not attunement.
It's not. Okay.
And there is, do have something. I know you. It's not something a service we provide. But your question about. I'm not sure if they're in town. You'd need to check. But in addition to all of this, if you are looking for ways to permanently resist certain effects or spells or elementals that attack you, I have been led to believe that certain tattoos are capable of causing this. You will need a certain amount of gem dust and a certain proficient tradesman, but you could find it maybe in the town somewhere.
Oh, you can get cool tattoos to protect you from magic.
That's a good idea, actually.
That's awesome.
Let's get
Where do
tattoos.
we find these people?
Let's get nice boy tattoos.
Is there anything else people specifically want to buy? And I will say whether or not it has it, and then we'll roll for tattoos, as I'm aware shopping sessions can go on.
Hayden would like to buy a couple of potions. And
Sure. Which did you have any potions in mind other than
Uh,
healing potions?
Oh no, just healing potions.
Okay.
He
Sorted.
will get he'll get 4 potions of superior healing.
4 potions of healing. Awesome. Yep.
Cool.
Have to just mark healing potions off.
Cool.
I
450.
put my healing potions in player chat, I think. Or campaign notes, rather.
Okay. Yeah, you guys need to let me know how much you guys spent on potions and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Zoggle spent almost like 3,000 in total.
DM,
Yes.
I do happen to have a scroll or two upon my person. I would like to charge the good man and ask him if he's willing to purchase a couple.
What exactly are you in possession of?
Well, it's going to be something you've never seen before and will never see again.
Unless I buy it.
Unless you buy it.
That is how these
It's a
transactions normally work.
scroll. Yeah, sure. It's a scroll. Have you ever seen one of these? And he pulls out the scroll of gravity physia at level 6. It's dunamantic magic.
That's okay. He hasn't seen that before.
What's
What
your
is?
offer?
Yeah, I'm getting it. Getting it. Mm. 25,000 gold pieces.
You could resell this for, God knows. Try again.
So do you want me to try again with what value I'm going to resell it for, or offer you something different?
The offer. You're going to flip this for.
Likely not. Such a collector's item. I mean, the Alabaster Lyceum would be interested, perhaps. Not to be directly reselling so much as. You shouldn't. Very well. 30,000.
30,000. Let's call it 40.
Could need some rolls for this.
Yeah, make a roll.
We just walk out net profit, no problem.
It's
That's a lot of shit.
16, but I'm going to re-roll that. And that is an 18.
It cost 15,000. Someone describe this. Value of the information. Raw
Once this is
materials.
inscribed into a book, it can be copied again and again and again. This is a staple of your industry. You're not selling this once.
I will need to get authorization from Mr. Gilmore himself for anything over 30,000. If you can afford to wait, we can deal with it when we get the carpet.
How long's the wait?
I said 2
Yeah,
days.
she
You'll
said-
wait until you get the carpet.
All right. See you in 2 days.
Thank you, sir. Anything else for anyone?
Where would we go for better armor and stuff? Like, I think some of us could probably kind of look around at the party. Benefit for a slight upgrade or two.
A magical blacksmith. I'm unsure.
All right, let's find a magical blacksmith. Do you guys know any?
You know, I saw a man walking around, big golden armor, hammer. Maybe him.
I just assume he's a blacksmith. You don't know what he does. Might be a
No,
farmer.
he specifically attempted to talk to me about forging.
When you say attempted, why'd you say attempted?
They didn't listen.
Why not?
Because I'm not interested in forging. Do I look? And he holds out like his tiny little arms and his robe. Do I look interested in forging?
I just remember when mages were.
Zach leans on the
Flag
counter
and
and he goes,
cosmos.
Zach leans on the counter, my brother, anyone can join the Church of the Forge. We accept
Exactly.
all.
Anyone can join the guards. Good day, thank you.
What's wrong with everybody in a month?
This
This whole
walks
thing,
up
like,
and Zach is,
these guys are like as arrogant as the archmages, but they're not even powerful. Like, I remember a time when mages were just academically interested in stuff.
Look, I'm just
This
I'm just flexing my snooty posh muscles. Please leave me alone.
I like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
They're so mean to us. Oh,
So we'll do the shopping episode outside for weapons and armor and
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah,
The Black Swan. That is where you are going, presumably on Friday. Is there anything else you guys want to achieve between now and Friday? There's no.
I mean,
Castle
like,
just with the people. who-
Repair my ring.
Yeah.
Oh, he would have. Zach would have asked. He said he had a ring. Did he say he had a ring of line shielding?
No.
Or not? Oh, okay, cool. I understand.
Yeah, Hayden will
Kaz,
attune
yeah.
to his new rings.
Absolutely, Kaz.
With his connections in the class, Cass will just like quietly insinuate and make sure that no class members that he's friendly with or considers decent people are hanging around the tunnels in that area on that night, and he'll just subtly be like, you know, it'd probably be very good if you weren't there. And he'll tell Zeta that she needs to be at the tavern, and that he will suggest, without actually saying as much, that
Something going to go down.
things might be going down, and it would be good if she was there because it would look like it was probably her doing, and that would get her in some good standing.
Okay. Yep, that absolutely makes sense. I
Is
will
it
let
all
you
said in
guys.
seed count?
I presumably. I wish I could do backslang. Get my brother to teach me. That's all goes down. That's fine. I will say when your plan is more formulated, you can communicate what Zeta's role in all of this as well. Should you need it. Tuning to the ring, going down, putting all the kind of chess pieces in position. Cool.
so
I would say, sorry, Hayden and Kaz, you are aware on the morning of Friday, regardless of what can happen between there, that it is certainly Kari's attention to be there this evening from the various contacts you have.
Amazing.
Do we know about like the locale, the location, like how to block off tunnels? Like, have we know the layout when she arrives, all that stuff?
We could possibly ask some of Zeta's contacts, or ask Zeta to get some of her
Yeah.
contacts to be in the tunnels to prevent the possibility of escape if a couple of us also wait down there further ahead, so that
Yeah.
it's not obvious that she's got people in the wings.
That feels wise.
Yes, so the Black Swan is actually in the Erudite Quarter, which is the southeastern side of M1. It's the center for higher education, but generally all of tal'dorei. The Black Swan is a theatre company. Education is, of course, not just magic and academia, entertainment as well. And
I keep telling yourself that.
and obviously, there are buildings nearby, magic buildings, as well as this is one of the nicer parts of town. You imagine whatever tunnels there are probably dug fairly deep. I'll provide a layout of the building itself between now and next session, and you guys can formulate your plan around it. You know that the kind of owner / leader / chief booker of the Black Swan is a tiefling named Edard, who, yeah, very tall, kind of black skin, short white hair, white goatee, very personable, impressionable. Sorry, very personable. Seemingly is linked to the class in some way, and someone who I say Kaz has a formal passing relationship with, who Hayden probably never met though.
Would Cass know whether or not he is sympathetic to Kari, or if he is kind of staying out of it?
He certainly is, of what you know of him, is probably trying his best to stay out of it. You imagine he probably resents a tiny bit that his venue is seemingly a bit of kind of the meeting ground for a lot of these conversations, although Kari continues to put him and his theatre in danger by appearing. That's the level it's got to within the class, but that Kari being somewhere is probably putting the people around her in danger to some extent, because if anybody was going to make an action, so wherever she's choosing to hang out is causing a little bit of resentment even among her supporters. You certainly could try, Cass, to approach him about it.
I think I'll do that, if that's okay. Probably do it on, like... Would I have to do it on Friday, or could I have done it, like, Thursday?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just, timeline events can shift around, but you, maybe that's, you can do it, that's where you found it out from. So, let's do it. You kind of make your way as the group are preparing. Black Swan, edge your way into Elard's office, who's behind a large mahogany deck, grand rooms, various kind of paintings of various troops from around tal'dorei, some more famous ones. There's the Grim Troop, who you of course were performing on Friday. There's the Ruby of the Sea, various famous people, and occasional ones of him with some famous people such as some of Vox Machina, some of the leaders of Vasselheim. He's surrounded himself by this place of wealth, and as he kind of stands up, says, Sadius, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Oh,
And he kind of puts his hand on your shoulder, just a little
too
bit,
firm?
little, not too firm, a little bit too like personable for kind of the relationship you thought you had, but I imagine you roll with it.
Oh yeah, Cass will clap his hand onto Edard's shoulder in a very similar gesture, and just, good to see you, buddy. How's business? Everything going all right?
Oh, it's surprisingly well. Everything else has gone apart, but people need a distraction, and whatever shows and troops are here, I'm the main gig in town, so they haven't got much choice either. Kind of flashes his fangs, he smiles a little bit. In a like gleaming, I'm so smart smile, not threatening.
Yeah, I really heard that your Fridays in particular are becoming quite a busy night for you, huh?
Well, they always were, but I'm not one to brag.
The clientele changed, from my understanding, in recent weeks.
A little bit less tourists, more local people, but I love to get to know my clientele.
Yeah, me too. I think I know your current clientele pretty well, actually.
Well, we have our regulars, and who... It's always nice to see fresh faces.
Yeah, there's one particular regular. I have a hankering to talk some business with one particular regular. I heard that Kari likes to come in here on Friday now. Do you think she'll be attending the show tomorrow? It's her favorite, isn't it?
Raise their eyebrows and kind of eyes flashlight. Well, I imagine so. She rarely misses it, and you're right, they are her favorite. A lot of people's favorite, but he keeps coming, and that's great. That's great.
Can Cass either?
With your insight,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, she'll be here. Sigh.
Not
Right,
happy about it is the general gist. Well, I mean, you are aware of the current political situation among her organization. I would assume, based on seeing it, we can.
Oh, I try not to keep myself involved in anything as mundane as money, but one does hear things.
Yeah. It's less money and more just the vibe she brings with her to a place. I imagine it's been pretty knife edge some nights.
interesting phrase. I'm not planning anything, are you, Kaz?
Oh, me personally.
Deception check.
Sure. That's a 14. It's not my best.
I see. And he gets a little bit slightly more guarded, and I see. Well,
Look, let me level with you here, because Cass would obviously be able to tell his.
yeah, immediately like, you're not
wanna-
planning something, asking for the most wanted person in Iman.
No, I just want to level with you here. The situation's getting a bit more. That knife edge is looking sharper and sharper by the day, and I think we're reaching a point where that point's gonna get someone. You know, someone's gonna cut themselves on that edge, and I just. If there's people you really want to keep an eye out for, maybe just have them not out on the shop floor once the show starts if you can avoid it, you know? From one friendly business person to another.
Am I to take this as a warning or a advance notice of a plan?
Well, it's just. Tensions are rising. This is just between you and me. I don't want your good people to get hurt, you know. But we also don't really want this
You
situation.
could-
This pot boiling over needs to happen, you know?
You can make a persuasion check.
Yep. That's a 25.
He sits and he considers. Well, grateful for you coming to me, Kaz. As always, it's lovely to see you. I suppose I'll be seeing you tomorrow, and I'll be thinking about what you've told me ever since.
Yeah, if you just think about it, just if you can keep your people off the try not to disrupt the show. I mean, people want to enjoy what they're gonna see.
Of course.
Can't do that with barmaids in the way. Cass is just gonna quietly slip 100 gold onto the table in the pouch, just to kind of like, thank you for your services.
He pockets the gold, not even looking at it, and is like, but I do hope you enjoy the show.
Oh, I'm gonna have a front row seat, buddy. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure that the next one we have will be far less tense.
Oh, for certain. I'm pretty certain that the person sitting at the front of the crowd next time will be much, much less disagreeable than the
Toxic.
less toxic. Let's go with that.
I suppose if it is intended that way, thank you for the warning. And I will ensure that I have my least favorite staff members anywhere close.
Good to know. That's I'll make sure some friends who are looking for work keep an eye out for the help wanted sign next week. Castle little salute.
City's so full of people, it's... Don't you worry about my business.
I have no worries about your business. You're one of the most reputable businessmen in this entire town. I have.
Oh,
no
you do
doubt.
me a disservice. How could you say something? I have a reputation to uphold.
Don't worry, I'll make sure I spread the news that you're just a real devil. Castle's taking out his little fork tongue in. Oh,
This is very
tiefling
saucy.
humor.
Tiefling humor.
Just a little tiefling
You're a
humor.
devil. No, you're a devil.
You're a devil.
Stop, you devil.
Cool. Well, so let's say Kaz can go back and relay that information that it is indeed, that's how you got information about attending to be there, about general stuff, and
He's just
is that all
making-
good?
Yeah, he also just wants to make sure that, we sound like the good guys. We're like, don't have your barmaids out on the floor. Like, make sure the staff you care about are, just absent during the play. It's fine.
Yep.
He's basically like, make sure you have an escape route, buddy. It's all good.
Very true. Very true. I took that there, as I said, a warning from a friend. Okay, anything else you guys want to achieve?
Dropping mum and dad off with Percival DeRollo.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll teleport. Oh wait, no, we're not doing that. We're just taking.
We're just
thing.
taking them to
Yeah.
Percy.
Cool. We
Taking
will
to Mr. Rolo.
potentially deal with that afterwards. But they are certainly now safe and sound in the palace. Being
I just
not
need to know, did his mom look so enamored with the
His-
entire situation?
so. Unfortunately, Mr. DeRolo did not meet them at the gates.
That's fine, but-
They were, but yes, his mum was incredibly enamored and shocked, and thought that Kaz must really be going up in the world, and he has such lovely friends, especially Aku, who makes the most wonderful tea. And outside the gates, actually looks at you, looks at Aku. Is Sai here?
Yeah, I'm here.
As you're about to walk in, said, "Could I have some more of it to make for myself while you're all busy?"
He looks down at her and says, "Well, you see, it's quite a rare tea. I'm afraid I'll have to find a new supplier before I can give you some. I'll make sure that Cass sends you a little package when I do."
Oh, it's very, very kind of you. Thank you. It's really very nice.
Jesus.
Makes me feel all tingly.
So sinister, bro.
Cass is doing like mental gymnastics here, like, what kind of tea is this?
Tingle tea.
Yes, but they're both very enamored. And if they haven't met DeRolo now, they may very well during their stay. But if there's nothing else anybody wants to do,
I think
Oh, sorry.
I think I'd probably tell the party to keep up my night trips to Rosanna.
Yep.
If anyone wants to go see Roman or whatever and kind of enable their trip. But bearing in mind that we haven't learned anything about the Aboleth Queen, and ultimately, like, we just don't know what would be going up against, I might try and implore Mr. Essex Theolis and the Archmage Supremes we have over there to see if they
Is there
can
no
maybe
like
help.
library in Rosanna that could maybe
Yeah, like at the start of that
Theory,
week.
guys,
together?
I do have the Aboleth mask, which kind of does make me succeed.
No, I don't think I will.
No. I said no. Stop metagaming.
I don't think I will.
Why shouldn't I? It's mine.
so what I'm going to do between now and next session, if you guys let me know the avenues by which you would like to investigate the Aboleth Queen, and any making relevant roles, and if it's Ascor, then Luke needs to respond to messages. And if it is, and then I'm also going to provide you with a layout and rough criteria, like itinerary of the night of Friday and what is happening with the Black Swan and your predictions, movements, and layout. Then you guys can formulate a plan between now and next session, or roleplay it in person if you do prefer. If that all makes sense.
Yes.
Awesome.
Sounds like a
All right. So, I said a lot happened during downtime. Most of it dead on, and now next session. I hope you're all ready for combat, presumably. Maybe, if it goes that way.
We're not going to get to combat. We're going to spend another session planning.
No,
No,
no, you're
I
not.
want to punch something.
Plans on
I
plans on
want to play
plans.
something so bad.
We will get there. Do not worry. And other than that, again, thank you so much to Hannah for coming and guesting. Thank you to everybody else for playing. And thank you everyone for watching. Hope you guys all have a good week. And we will definitely catch you next week. A note for everyone, I suppose, in general, I will be I will certainly not be around the 13th and 20th of September. Whether or not I'm here on the 6th depends on how wedding prep is going. So I suppose advance notice. But I will be missing.
Understandable.
The
I
grand
would hope
How
so.
dare
hiatus
you be getting married?
looms.
It's honestly
How dare
unacceptable, really.
How dare you go on a honeymoon?
I'll let Jess know that clearly D&D needs to come first.
I think you should cancel the wedding so you can do D&D instead.
I agree.
Not a D&D wedding.
Oh, you could play D&D
We'll have
at the
D&D
wedding.
I- So
Oh, I should
just
love that.
Sai, as in a different Sai, bought us a present, which is I think it's like not a crystal, but some blue dice that Jess is using as her something blue and something new.
Oh, that's so cute.
So vaguely D&D related.
I love
That's
that.
nice.
Very D&D related. That's a
Wait,
D20. So.
Why do you need blue things?
Is it not like superstitions, like something new, something blue, something borrowed?
Something new, something old, something borrowed. And
Why?
something blue.
What?
They're,
Yeah.
they're meant to be good luck charms for a bride at her wedding. So something new is usually the dress. Something borrowed is usually an item from like a friend or a parent's wedding item. So it'll be like your mum's garter or something.
Ah,
Borrowed will be like someone's earrings or something that are nicer than anything you have, and then something blue is just something blue.
that's weird, bro.
Could be like a ribbon on your shoe or something.
Does it have one?
Superstitions, mate. It's the same sort of brand as the superstition of you shouldn't see the bride before the wedding if you're the groom.
Yeah, which is resulting in me not sleeping in my flat the day before the wedding.
Oh,
I have to put him up, otherwise out on the street.
No.
just leave him on the street, mate.
Yeah, well, yeah, we watch Rings of Power and then I just kick him out.
Nice. Anyway,
Gonna be
that's enough of our personal lives. Hello, everyone. My personal life, I suppose, particularly. And yeah, we'll catch you all next week.
Cool. See y'all next
Bye.
week. Bye.
Bye 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 bye.